Did you know that Japanese companies don't fire their permanent employees? And even if you are a foreign company operating in Japan, you're subjected to the same rules and regulations. You can fire, but you have to go through the eye of a needle, and the eye is very, very small. And the rationale is the bigger picture. They believe that everybody living or operating in Japan benefits from the kind of society that they have created: safe, progressive, prosperous, and so everyone must contribute. And if you put somebody back into the world with no means to support himself, that is not contributing to the society, because you're just moving your problem to somebody else, and that somebody else is the government. And the government believes that their resources is better spent on projects that will benefit more people. And then there's the intangible result of firing somebody. For example, if you fire a mother or a father and they have no means to support the family, it's going to damage the upbringing of the child, and it's going to spoil the opportunities that the child may have. And so you're just creating a bigger problem with bigger consequences. So they believe that it's better for the company to pay somebody, even though they don't need that somebody anymore, instead of creating all these big problems. And it really has so far worked, because Japan is still a member of the G7, and they are consistently one of the countries with the lowest crime rates. And it made me think, if it works in Japan, why can't other countries adopt the same rule? The very first time I worked with Japanese people was when I was still working for an advertising agency, the advertising world. And I did a project for Dentsu and Young, which is an advertising agency that came from their headquarters is actually in Japan. And I was just astounded with their work ethic. Everything is perfect. Nothing will ever leave their desk unless it is perfect. If they send you something, there is zero mistake in there. They do not tolerate any kind of mistake. They were so disciplined, they were so focused, and I think that is part of the reason they're able to institute laws like this. They know that once somebody works for a company, they will devote their life in that company. They hold their work with so much pride. This is not just a source of work for them. This is their place in the society. This is how they contribute to their community. So I think this is just a theory. That is the very basis, that is the foundation of a law like this in Japan. Okay, I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please like this video. Also subscribe and hit that notification button so that you know when there's a new video getting published. And of course, share if you can. Okay, let's get on with the video. Okay, so you can actually fire somebody in Japan, but you really have to go through the eye of a needle, and that's not very easy, because there was this one instance when a anchor person, so a TV station, fired their anchor person because he overslept twice, and they weren't able to air their TV show twice. So they fired him, and the court sided with the anchor person. They said that 2 offenses, that's not enough to fire somebody. Another instance would be the teacher. He was asked to stay behind in the hotel during a school trip, and he decided to go out golfing, and they fired him because that's insubordination. And the court decided to side with the teacher. They said that because no harm was done, he shouldn't have gotten fired. So even though the law says there are ways you can fire an employee, it's still a slippery slope. It's almost still impossible. So the question is, if they are heavily leaning towards employees, how come it is not being abused? The thing is that hard work, diligence, and dedication are all heavily integrated into the Japanese culture and the Japanese education system. Up until the 3rd or the 4th grade, grade school students' curriculum is actually heavy on the immersion to their culture and tradition more than it is on the academic side. And they actually don't have exams until after the 3rd or the 4th grade. Part of this early years of development is the reinforcement that you as a Japanese, you are a part of the society, and whatever it is that you do affects the society. So you can't just think of yourself. You always have to think about how your actions will affect the society. And while Japan isn't really religious, as you know, the Buddhism is actually a pretty big religion in Japan, and they are also heavy in that belief that you are a part of the society and whatever it is that you do will affect the society. So remember that this is the kind of values that their parents are living for and living with and living by, and this is the kind of values that they see on their neighbors, and then it is reinforced in their religion and then reinforced in their education. So that becomes a part of who they are. That their job isn't just a way for them to make a living, but actually a way for them to contribute to the society, which actually leads me to the next point. So a job is more than just a living. It's really a way for them to contribute to the nurturing of the type of society that they live in. Many friends of mine here in the US have asked me, why is tipping not such a big thing in many Asian countries, and it's such a huge thing here in the US. And they think that many Asian countries are actually paying their employees enough for them to have a comfortable life, and actually no. I explained to them that no, in many Asian countries, not all, but in many Asian countries, your job is your position in the society. That's how you contribute. So it's more than just a living. And so the thinking is that you're supposed to take whatever it is due you, which is your salary, and then the rest, that's just a natural part of what you should be doing to sustain this society. So the question is, why can't Western countries adopt the same rules and regulations? I think one of the things that work for Japan is that it is homogenous. It's really one race. They're trying their best to be very protective of that. And that made it easy for them to impose laws like this, because there's only one history to think of, one sensibility, one culture to think of. But in countries like the US, it's very diverse, of which I benefit, of course. Here, there's so many culture to think of, history. So you can't just impose laws like this because it's going to be insensitive towards the culture or history and sensibilities of different races and different cultural backgrounds that are residing in the US. So I'm just wondering, do you think being homogeneous actually benefits the country more, or do you think it's not worth it? Like, we shouldn't be turning away people that would want to reside in our country. And that there is a way for us to achieve the same level of progress and safety that Japan has, even if we accept everybody. It is not without problems, for sure. There are a lot of companies that are now refusing to hire permanent employees. They're just hiring temporary employees because they know that these people will work harder at the chance of getting hired permanently, and then they don't get raises, they are underpaid and overworked. And then there are companies that would put employees in a freezer. In other words, the employee will continue coming to the office, they get paid, but they don't get any work. And some employees are okay with that. It's like, okay, I get free money. But for the most part, it's a shame for them, as I've said, because of the cultural orientation that they have. So it's one way into pressuring the employee to just resign. And some other employees are just straight up pressured into resigning, because in Japan, although you can fire somebody, there's really a lot of requirements. And even though the court says, okay, you can fire, you are right for firing that employee, you still need to give them severance pay that would be enough to sustain them for years to come, and you need to prove that you're not causing the person economic or social or mental or emotional harm. So there's really a lot for you to go through. So yeah, but as I've said, of course, it is obvious that it is resulting to the kind of society that they're living. If you've ever been there, I'm sure you know how beautiful it is, how safe it is, and how disciplined the Japanese people are. There's the work ethic. My God, I wish I had half of it. So I'm just wondering if you think this kind of regulation and the way that they've built their culture, integrating it into their educational system, do you think that will work in your country? And do you think being homogenous is actually worth it? Being protective of their own is worth the benefits of turning away people? Or do you think, or would you rather just welcome everybody and find a different path towards the kind of prosperity and safety that they have? Or do you think it's not possible? Just let me know, because I'm really just curious. There's no good thing without a price, right? We all need to pay a price. I'm just curious what price you're willing to pay in order to get this kind of life, to enjoy this kind of society and country. Okay, if you have anything to say, leave them in the comment section below. As always, you can say whatever it is that you want. Just please make sure that you are saying it respectfully. And you can get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm going to convert that into an Asian entertainment and culture Twitter, and I'm just going to maintain all the personal stuff in my IG account. Okay, if you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Of course, hit that notification button and subscribe so that you know when there's a new video getting published, and share the video if you can, because that's really helping my channel. Okay, I hope I did not bore you. Till next time, appreciate you all.